What's clicking YouTube? I am the TV Kid and I would like to welcome you to the remote recall where the only thing that's twerking is the universal remote when the battery is low. Now getting off into your feature recalls of the week, you know I had to kick it off with some wrestling. So yeah, basically clicking on over to Monday Night Raw. Show started off with Triple H basically stripping Daniel Bryan of the title after he accused him of being in collaboration with referee Scott Armstrong, when Scott basically gave a very speedy 3 count following Daniel Bryan hitting the running knee on Randy Orton to win the WWE title. Now, clearly Daniel Bryan is being basically set up and cheated out of the WWE title, but you know, that's how I go with the machine. So yeah, at this time Daniel Bryan has had yet another short title reign, and the WWE title is at this time vacant. Next off in the show, we had the return of WWE Hall of Famer and legend Dusty Rhodes. Now Dusty Rhodes came to Raw following an invitation via Twitter by Stephanie McMahon. Now basically Dusty came out, said some very passionate things, and then Stephanie came out. They went back and forth. Basically the segment came down to Dusty telling Stephanie McMahon off, to which she did not take a liking, and she would then call the Shield down to escort Dusty Rhodes from the ring. Now, as a WWE fan and a fan of Dusty Rhodes, I don't want to see Dusty Rhodes get beat up by the Shield. That ain't right. But luckily enough, I didn't have to see him get beat up by the Shield, as I got to see him get knocked out by the Big Show after Stephanie McMahon called the Big Show down to the ring and basically forced him to knock Dusty out after giving him the ultimatum of if he did not knock Dusty out, then the Shield would take care of him. Of course, Big Show was reluctant at first, telling her no, but after he saw that the Shield was gonna take care of Dusty Rhodes, he basically cursed him out, told him not to lay a finger on him, and he reluctantly had to knock Dusty Rhodes out with possibly the softest KO punch I've ever seen. Of course, I don't really know he could give a soft KO punch, since his hands are bigger than a freaking basketball. But you know, another emotional week for Big Show. Very emotional segment, very powerful segment. Great showing by Dusty Rhodes, of course, and yeah, it's very interesting to see where this is gonna go with Big Show and the McMahons. But hopefully this can lead to some type of Rhodes unification. I don't know, but yeah, it was good. Lastly, last part of the show, we saw the roster finally come together. Unification by WWE superstars when they came down to the ring to attack the Shield when Daniel Bryan was basically being beat up by Randy Orton and the Shield. Basically, we saw the Usos, the primetime players, Dolph Ziggler, Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, Zack Ryder, and Justin Gabriel. That's right, people. R-Truth, Justin Gabriel, and Zack Ryder was on Raw. Miracles do really come true. Yeah, man, so it was basically good to, it was real good to see the roster finally come together, see the Shield get their behinds handed to them, and finally Daniel Bryan was standing, and the faces, you know, basically won this week. So that was Monday Night Raw, another good Monday Night Raw, man. They've been pretty good for the past couple of weeks, so it's very interesting to see where this is gonna go. Now, clicking on over to Tuesday, you know I gotta talk about them boys, the motorcycle gang of the best motorcycle gang of all the time, Sam Crow. I'm talking Sons of Anarchy, Season 6, Episode 2. Kicking off this episode, we see Tara being released from prison, clearly on bail or whatever other kind of deal her lawyer was able to make for her. But yeah, basically Tara is not only trying to divorce Jax, but apparently she's pregnant. Yeah, that's very strange considering it's only 2 dudes she can be pregnant for, one being Jax and the other being Otto, who is currently in jail being raped by other inmates. half blind, and he bit his own tongue off. Yeah. Leave the FX to bring the drama. But yeah, it's she's up to a lot of stuff, man, so it's very interesting to see where she's gonna go. Also in this episode we saw Jax betray Nero, which came out of left field. Basically, Jax had a very close female friend of Nero's killed after he ordered Juice to take care of her. Yeah, she's basically the mother of the kid who shot the school up in episode 1. Nero came to the club and asked them to help him get her out of town, away from the cops, until the situation died down. Basically, after a whole bunch of shenanigans, they had to sedate her, and Jax basically gave the order for Juice to take care of her behind Nero's back. After Nero found out, he confronted Jax about it. Of course, Jax would deny everything. You know, Nero being the emotional, trusting dude he is, he just, you know, had to let it go, and Jax basically told her it was the drugs, man. I don't, you know. Yeah, so normally I'm a fan of Jax, man, but that just wasn't cool, man. Now, lastly in this episode, we saw Clay continue to collaborate with the U.S. Marshal in his vendetta against the Sons of Anarchy for the death of his sister. Now, of course, Clay is reluctant to help the U.S. Marshal bring down his own club, but I mean, Clay ain't exactly in a position to bargain, because he does not want to be in general population, as he is scared for his life, as he should be. But he basically told the U.S. Marshal that he would not give him any further help unless he was able to have a sit down with Clay and with Jax and Gemma. Now in this episode we did get a chance to see him have a sit down with Gemma. Basically, a lot of emotional apologizing, telling him how much he loved her, and you know, Gemma, she was able to keep a straight face on the whole thing. Basically, afterwards, she broke down like a little girl in the bathroom. But you know, she did catch wind that Clay might be up to something, and she warned Jax. Now, we did not see a sit down in this episode between Clay and Jax, but we will get to see it next week. So that's gonna be very interesting to see where that's gonna go. And yeah, man, it's another drama-filled good episode of the Sons of Anarchy. Now, clicking on over to Sunday, which usually consists for me of football, but you know, now we got those Maids of Deviousness. Yeah, man, this week's episode of Devious Maids, which is the show before the season finale. Yeah, we seen the return of Sam. That's right, people. Black is back. The Canary Cage knockout guy is back. Yeah, basically Sam surprised Carmen, came back, told her that he was off in a training program to become an agent. Why was Sam off trying to train to become an agent? So he could become Carmen's manager and take her off into the stratosphere and make her the biggest superstar of all, music superstar of all time. Unfortunately, good old hearted Sam, all his efforts seem to be futile, as Carmen also had a surprise for him when she told him that she no longer cared about her music career. She just wanted to be with him and that she loved him. Aww. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so yeah, that was nice to see them finally, you know, come together and fest a little love for each other, and that was cute and all. But also in this episode, we finally got to see Rosie's son. Yeah, her son does exist. It's not a myth. It's not a fake storyline in a story. Her son actually does exist. How he got there, it's a whole different story. Now, he basically, Miss Perry concocted some kind of plan to get back in Rose's good graces when she basically went to a guy to get help to go get Rosie's son from whatever country he was in. Now, when she told this to Spence, of course, he would try to stop her, saying that this whole situation could be illegal and it could blow back on her and everybody else affiliated with the situation. But she saw it as him trying to rain on her parade and take all the credit for herself, so she went and did it anyway. Now, all this is going on after Spence proposed to Rosie and Rosie saying yes. Of course, you know, good old Rosie, after she found out that her son was coming home, she shut down everything with Mr. Spence because she is so much in debt to Mrs. Perry, and she does not want to betray her trust and everything that she's done, and basically giving her baby back. So not only did we see Spence and Rosie come together and then break up again in the same episode, Mrs. Perry also told Rosie that Spence tried to stop her from bringing her son back, which Rosie would be pissed off at Spence. So, you know, this was another drama-filled good episode of Devious Maids. It's going to be very interesting to see where this whole thing is going to go with Alejandro and the gay thing and the whole Rosie, Mrs. Spence, and Mr. Spence storyline. So, that was that. Now, has been your recalls of the week. Now, the next part of this show is going to feature two new segments that I came up with. First of which I would like to call the Geek-Check. Now, this segment is very, very close to me. It's going to be one of my favorites. Basically, besides being a wrestling fanatic, I am a cartoon and animated show fanatic. And basically, I'm going to give you and talk about, you know, a couple of animated shows that I have gotten off into and possibly that you could check out. Let's get off into it. First off, we have Beyblade Shogun Steel. Now, this show chronicles the events happening after Beyblade Metal Fury and features a new generation of bladers, new Beyblades, and basically this new generation is trying to surpass the legendary bladers and make history of their own. Now, this is going to be a very interesting Beyblade season because there's a new stadium called the Cyclone Stadium, in which the stadium spins according to in collaboration with the speed and the spin of the Beyblades. Also, we have a unique ability for Beyblades to combine to become even stronger, which is new, but I kind of could have saw that coming after all the technology from the last couple of series. But, you know, like I said, it's very interesting. I like the show, and hopefully you can check it out Saturday mornings at like 6:30, I think. Next, and lastly, we have Digimon Fusion. That's right. There's a new Digimon show out there. I had no idea about Digimon Fusion until one day I was clicking and basically it landed on Nickelodeon and saw this new Digimon show and, you know, got excited about it. Basically, the digital world is in an all-out war. You got evil Digimon trying to take over the digital world, and we have Digimon resistance fighters who are trying to stop that from happening. Now, this season is going to be very interesting as, of course, the title Digimon Fusion. We're going to see Digimon having the ability to fuse with the help of a human partner and a device called a fusion loader. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Both these shows, animated shows, I'm very excited to see where they're headed, and just to get some fresh, good animated shows out there, man. It's been kind of boring lately, but, you know, hopefully this can pick up. So, that was your Geek Check this week on the Remote Recall, and the last segment, and another new segment coming up with, is called the Sentence Summary. Now, this segment of the show is basically where I talk about a couple of shows that I'm not really that into or fans of, but I managed to catch during the week, and I talk about them. First off, we have I Dream of Nene. Now, basically, yeah, this is the big mouth rich chick from Real Housewives of Atlanta that everybody loves, Nene Leakes. And this show chronicles her journey back down the aisle to ex-husband Greg Leakes. Now summarizing this show up, basically, it's Nene's world featuring Greg and whoever the heck else she like. It's Nene's world and everybody else get your spot. Next show, another new Bravo show, called The New Atlanta. So this came on after Nene. I was finna turn the channel, but it looked interesting, so I, watched it. Basically, it's like the Real Housewives of Atlanta, except it's a younger cast. Nobody's married, and we have an even amount of male testosterone on the show. Basically, might as well call it summarizing it, the Real Bachelors and Bachelorettes of Atlanta. Whatever, Bravo. Yeah, man. That basically sums up the sentence summary. Yeah, so maybe you could check those two shows out. Come on, Bravo Sundays. Maybe I'll check them out again. Who knows? But yeah, they're not exactly my cup of tea. It's reality, but something to watch. So yeah, basically that wraps up your remote recall this week, man. Give a special shout out to Evan Taylor, who is probably going to be the first person to watch this video after me, and also anybody out there who has any social media or branding and marketing interest, or just want to get off into that sort of thing. You can hit her up on Twitter at Ms_Evan Taylor. Again, that's Ms_Evan Taylor on Twitter. Yeah, man, that basically wraps up your remote recall for this week. Once again, I am the TV kid telling you, if you got a remote and a TV, get to clicking.